Everyone warned them. Those aren't house cats. They're going to destroy your home. You're making a mistake. 5 spotted kittens with ears too large for their faces, eyes that held something ancient and untamed, and coats that looked like something you'd see on the floor of a museum in a wildlife exhibit. They looked like leopards, small ones, very, very small ones. But the family who brought them home didn't care what anyone said. And what these 5 wild-looking kittens did every single morning would change everything those neighbors thought they knew. But to understand what happened next, you have to understand where they started and what everyone got wrong from the very beginning. Savannah cats carry something that most domestic cats don't. It's in the way they move, fluid, deliberate, like they're always aware of exactly where every paw is landing. It comes from their lineage, the African serval, a medium-sized wildcat known for extraordinary leaps, precise reflexes, and an intelligence that borders on unsettling. The first-generation crosses are rare. The later generations, F3, F4, F5, look wild. They have the spots, the long legs, the satellite dish ears, but the temperament has shifted, softened, become something that doesn't quite fit the image their coats project. The family, Sarah, her husband Daniel, and their 2 kids, had researched Savannahs for over a year before the litter was born. They had read every forum thread, every Reddit post, every cautionary tale, and every glowing success story. They thought they were prepared. They were not prepared. Not for 5 of them, not at once. The breeder placed all 5 onto the living room floor on a Wednesday afternoon in October. 5 pairs of enormous ears swiveled toward the sound of the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. 5 spotted bodies went completely still. And then, in perfect unison, 5 sets of wide golden eyes turned toward Sarah. She described it later as the moment she understood what the word presence actually meant. They didn't look scared, she said. They looked like they were deciding. The first 72 hours were, in a word, vertical. Every surface became a launch pad. The kitchen counter, the top of the refrigerator, the curtain rod, somehow. Daniel stood in the hallway on the second morning, looking up at the curtain rod where 2 of the kittens were sitting, watching him with the calm authority of wildlife documentarians, observing a lesser species. They're just kittens, he told himself. Just kittens. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. It started on day 4. Sarah set her alarm for 6:30 a.m. as usual, but at 6:14 she woke up anyway because something was purring. Not one thing, 5 things. She opened her eyes to find all 5 kittens arranged across the bed, 2 at her feet, 1 along her left side, 1 pressed against her shoulder, and the 5th, the smallest, silver-spotted female they had started calling Dust, sitting directly on her chest, nose to nose, staring at her with absolute focus. Not aggressive, not demanding, just present, like something that had decided in the quiet logic of the early morning that this was its job. Sarah lay there without moving for a long time. Outside, the sun hadn't risen yet. The house was completely silent, and for the first time since she could remember, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt full. By week 2, the morning ritual had formalized itself. Not because Sarah trained them, not because she set a schedule. They set the schedule. 6:12 every single morning. The pile arrived. It didn't matter if she went to bed late. It didn't matter if Daniel was traveling and she was sleeping on his side. 6:12.
5 spotted bodies, 5 purring engines, 1 woman who had started setting her alarm for 6:15 on purpose, just so she could wake up to it instead of before it. Little did they know, this was only the beginning. If you're still here and haven't subscribed yet, honestly, that one stings. Hit subscribe right now. You are not going to want to miss what happens next. The neighbors remained unconvinced. The woman next door, Linda, had been watching the situation with visible concern since October. She stopped Sarah at the mailbox one afternoon in November. "I just want to make sure you know what you're dealing with," she said. "Those cats have wild blood in them. My cousin had one. It shredded every piece of furniture she owned and escaped through a window screen." Sarah thanked her. She went inside. She found Dust asleep in the bathroom sink. 1 paw draped over the faucet, completely unbothered by the concept of gravity. "Wild blood," she said to Dust. Dust opened 1 eye, closed it again. The furniture, for the record, was fine. Mostly. What changed everything for Linda happened on a Thursday morning in December. Her 7-year-old grandson, Owen, was visiting. He had been afraid of cats his entire life, a story involving a neighbor's Persian and a very unfortunate incident when he was 3 that nobody talked about directly, but everyone remembered. Owen sat frozen on Sarah's couch. 5 pairs of enormous ears turned toward him. 5 spotted bodies went still. Sarah held her breath. And then, at exactly 7:23 a.m., something shifted. Dust walked across the coffee table, stopped directly in front of Owen, sat down, and waited. Not approaching, not retreating, just offering. Owen stared at her for a full 30 seconds. Then he reached out one small hand and touched the top of her head. Dust closed her eyes, started purring, and Owen, the child who had been afraid of cats since he was 3, let out a long, slow breath that seemed to come from somewhere very deep. Linda was standing in the doorway. She didn't say anything. She had come over to make sure her grandson was safe. Instead, she stood there watching a 7-year-old boy breathe easier than he had in years because of a spotted kitten that nobody asked to be gentle, but was anyway. But she watched for a very long time. The thing about Savannah cats that nobody tells you, not the forums, not the breeders, not the cautionary neighbors, is that their intelligence runs in both directions. Yes, they are perceptive in ways that feel uncanny. Yes, they notice things. Yes, they remember. But they also choose. Every morning, those 5 cats could have been anywhere in that house. On the curtain rod, in the bathroom sink, on top of the refrigerator doing whatever it is they do up there. Instead, every morning, they chose the bed. They chose Sarah. Not because they were trained to, not because they didn't know better, because they had decided in the quiet logic of whatever Savannah cats use to make decisions that this was where they were supposed to be. By January, Linda had stopped stopping Sarah at the mailbox to warn her. Instead, she stopped her to ask questions. Does Dust always do that thing with her paw? Is it true they can open cabinets? Owen asked if he could come back on Saturday. Owen came back on Saturday, and the Saturday after that. By February, he was arriving at 6:10 a.m., 2 minutes before the pile. He wanted to be in position when they arrived. He always was. 5 kittens that looked like leopards. 5 animals that every neighbor on that street had looked at with suspicion and concern. 5 creatures that carried the lineage of the African wild in the pattern of their coats and the angle of their ears. And every single morning, without training, without incentive, without anyone asking them to, they came home. They found their person, they settled, they stayed. Because the wild in them was never the dangerous part. The wild in them was the part that knew exactly who to trust and chose every morning to prove it. Some stories don't need a rescue. Some stories don't need a tragedy. Some stories just need 5 spotted kittens and a woman who decided to listen to something other than the warnings. They still look like leopards. They always will. But every morning at 6:12, they always come home. Do you think wild-blooded cats are dangerous? Or do we just fear what we don't understand? Tell me in the comments.